Hello, everyone. I'm Ambassador Chris,
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
and we are the Ambassadors of Gaming, and we're here to give you our commentary on the PS4 Pro. I've had the unit for about, I want to say, a week now, um, and I have had a little bit of experience with it. I did have a PS4 before it, so I have both some comparative things as well as just things that are totally new to me.
Ooh. All right,
Yeah.
so I think the most important thing is because every pro reacts differently to your television. So you have a television not capable of 4K, correct?
It is not capable of 4K.
Does it have HDR?
My TV is not capable of HDR
Okay,
either.
but it
However,
provides 1080p, right?
it does provide
Okay,
1080p, yes.
I just wanted that to
Okay.
be clear.
The interesting thing is, like I said, the PS4, its textures, it doesn't just, it's not just for the 4K users and for the high dynamic
Mm.
range. Believe it or not, they made this a very compelling option for people that don't even have a PS4, for people to just
Yeah.
start out with a PS4. And the biggest thing I noticed with the textures was actually in Destiny.
Mm.
Um, Everything looked the same except my hands and my gun.
That's just super.
Um, oh my gosh, amazingly detailed,
Mm.
like extremely realistic. The way the light, like there was a blinking light on the wall,
Mm.
and on the side of my gun, the light you could see the light refracting off of it with the blinking green light. It
Oh,
was just the detail was absolutely astonishing,
there you
and that's
go.
coming from not a 4K or HDR TV.
Yeah, they just up the textures and stuff. Well, that's good. Cause have you run
Definitely.
into any graphical issues yet with any of the
No,
games you played?
not at all.
Okay.
Not like myself. Not myself. No.
Have you seen the posts and stuff like that? Like for example, Shinobi, he got a pro and he had posted about he was playing The Last of Us and for some reason it didn't want to load like a texture where maybe a puddle or something would have been. And you know how when textures just don't load, you just get that gray block. So it's just a
Yeah.
gray polygon on the ground. So you see this beautiful HDR rendered image, and then just this fucking gray polygon on the ground. And I was
Yeah.
like, God, dude, that's such a shame. I'm sure other
I have
people are
not
gonna have that
experienced that.
issue, but
However, that might be an issue. I assume he had an HDR or 4K TV.
yeah, yeah,
I
he
assume.
does.
Okay. Well, in that case, the PS4 probably pushes out a little bit more power and a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more processing to get that big image to render, and it could make it more difficult to make that
Load everything.
image appear as opposed to on my TV where it's not using all of its power. It's
Yeah,
got plenty to
true.
spare, so it might render things a little easier on my TV.
That's true. Plus, you're not trying to push out HDR and 4K, where his runs in
Exactly.
both. So that's
Hmm.
interesting.
Exactly.
Um, I'm trying to think because the way you described that is like when I first bought my PS4 and I bought like Destiny and I bought Knack. And when you were first seeing like these engines and the way they bend light and everything, you're like, this is fucking awesome. These games look so gorgeous. Like
And now they're
that,
even better.
yeah, that's what it sounds like. Like it's that feeling again because now we're just so used to how pretty the games look.
Yeah.
Like you go back and look at PS3 games, they look like trash. So like, 5 years from now when they have whatever the next generation, or if they just iterate again on this generation, we're gonna look back at this generation and be like,
Exactly.
oh my god, these look
But
like
by the time
trash.
we get to like when there's a PS5 or Scorpio or whatever is the common day at that time, we're gonna look back at Destiny 1 and 2
Be like,
on
oh,
PS4 and go, man, how did this even pass for a game?
yeah, how did we like this?
What? Exactly. I remember the first time I played World at War, I thought the textures were amazing. I thought
Mm.
everything looked amazing on Xbox 360, and
Oh
now I
my
look
god,
at it and
it's so
it's just
ugly.
it's terrible. It is
It's
absolutely
so bad.
awful. Yeah.
So,
As for hardware, hardware is probably one of the most interesting things about it.
hmm
Um, is there anything you want to know about the hardware?
I do have,
Anything particular?
I do want to test out something the next time I come over, because that one has three, right? Three USBs, one, two in the front, one in
Does
the back. I
one in
feel
the back?
like they designed that specifically for the VR. You know what I mean? So you don't have to reach around the front. You know how I charge all this fucking shit? I have to have five USB ports on my PS4. I have to use an adapter so that I can have 5 USB ports because I can't charge both the Move controllers, my DualShock 4, and then the VR headset. So I need 4 USB ports. It's fucking ridiculous.
The PS the as for the actual ports, there's really nothing. There's not really anything different.
Yeah, they're both
There's still no.
USB 2, right?
There's yeah.
Okay.
There's still no HDMI in.
Yeah.
They still are not marketing this as like a home hub,
Yeah.
like you can use your Xbox One for.
Mhm.
The USB port on the back, I actually have the charging cord from my controller plugged into it because I cannot stand how ugly it looks with that cord sticking out of the front. I have a very pretty entertainment center, and that would just muck it up.
Oh my god, you would hate PSVR. You would hate
Yeah, I
it.
know.
It's awful.
The-
I do want to try out PSVR on the Pro because I have heard it renders it a little bit better. So we could probably do
next
that
time you come
sometime.
up, bring your
Talk about that.
bring your VR, and you can get that set up.
Sounds good to me.
As for the size of it, it's about the same size by width and length. It's just a little bit wider, just a little bit.
That's not too bad.
Where my controllers usually, I have my console alongside my Wii U and my Xbox One, and there's normally enough room for my DualShock 4 to just slide between them.
Mhm.
And there still is room, but it's much tighter. So it's probably like maybe a quarter of an inch, maybe a little bit bigger of wider.
Mhm.
The height is probably going to be the biggest difference. The height is just a little bit larger.
Yeah, it didn't
probably
look
about-
significantly bigger. It
like-
looks
it's
like
like-
it's about that
It's like
big.
1.5 PS4s. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
1.5
That's
PS4s.
not too bad.
Most likely, as long as you weren't fitting this in a spot that was dimensionally perfect for a PS4, like in all
Yeah.
places, it's most likely going to be able to fit where you had your PS4 if you're thinking about upgrading.
In comparison, for the sake of conversation, how
Sure.
how does it look relative to the Xbox One? Because you have the OG Xbox One. You don't have the Slim.
I do.
Is
The
it-
S didn't offer enough upgrade option for me to justify getting it.
Yeah. Is it about as tall as the Xbox One? Or is it taller than the Xbox One?
Believe it or not, you know what? We're gonna cut this right here. Okay, so I'm back, and it's actually a little smaller.
Fucking the
Xbox
original
One.
Xbox One is fucking a
It's-
monster.
1.5
It's ridiculous.
times the size of the PS4 is still smaller than the OG Xbox One.
Jesus Christ. Dude, seriously, I can't believe that. Like, especially when we see the S now. Like, I can't believe that it's that fucking big. Like,
Exactly.
oh my
I mean,
god.
The size of the Xbox One never really bothered me. It's not. We're out of the days of portable. Like, unless you have a handheld, an actual designed portable game, or like the
You're not
GameCube when it
taking
had the
stuff.
handle on it, you're really not moving these consoles.
Mhm. Well,
So the size,
it's
I don't know, the
same
size of it
argument I
never really
have.
bothered me.
Yeah.
Go
That's
ahead.
the
sorry.
same argument people make with PSVR. Is they're like, well, I can't, like, there's so much shit, so I can't, like, take it to, like, my friends' houses and shit. I'm like, just have them come to your house then. Like,
It's not designed.
it's not designed to be moved.
It's a home console. It is not
Yeah.
a. It's not a 3DS. It's not a Vita.
Yeah.
It's not designed for that. It's
It's designed to be moved, like, 6 times maybe in its entire lifespan. And that's for you to, like, dust it and move it if you move out of your house. That's pretty much it.
And also, while we're on the subject, just to clarify, there are things called mobile components, and they are pieces of technology like circuit boards and other trinkets that are designed to be moved. Like a lot of components in my Mac Mini, the desktop I'm using now, even though it's a desktop, it's made with mobile components. Okay.
Mhm.
Most laptops are made with mobile components. Even though you can get that little mobile play space for your Xbox One that like it has like a TV screen in it
Mhm.
and it's like a suitcase, both the PS4 and the Xbox One are, even the new ones, the upgraded ones, are all made with desktop components. They are not designed to be moved. They are
Yeah.
not designed to work on the go. It's just how it is.
Yeah, no, they're
So
designed to be stationary.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel, it'd be nice if you could take your console anywhere you go, but the reason that they're such a pain in the butt too is because they're not designed to move.
Yeah, exactly.
The triple layer design, I barely notice it. I mean, I, I think it's kind of ugly personally
Yeah, I don't like the redesign
to
either.
the first PS4. Compared to the first PS4, I don't really like the slim either.
Now,
I don't like either of
granted,
them.
now granted, if this was the original PS4 design, I wouldn't have hated it. I only dislike
Yeah,
it because I like the square, angular look of the original
yeah.
PS4. It looks
The original PS4
futuristic.
is sexy. It
Yeah,
is a nice.
it looks
It's a nice looking
futuristic,
console.
is what it is, honestly. That's what it looks like when people see it. They're like, it's like the PS3. When you first saw the PS3, you're like, damn, that looks pretty futuristic. Like, it was a stupid ass design for the PS3, but, but
Yeah,
do you have physical buttons now, too, right?
you
They're
do,
not touch sensors?
but
And the light bar is not on the top, it's on the front of the PS4
I
now,
think I
right?
understand their logic behind what I'm about to tell you. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
In the middle layer, how we have that ice cream sandwich
Yeah.
triple layer design. The buttons are on the bottom, if I remember right. I think. We're gonna cut one. Yeah,
They're on the bottom.
the buttons are on the bottom of the middle layer, and they're kind
Okay.
of hard to press. And I understand their reasoning behind them because that way you can't accidentally tap them or accidentally click them. But they're at the point where when I actually did the unboxing of it, which we will have on the channel soon, I actually had trouble finding the buttons.
Out of
I had trouble
curiosity, where's the disk drive? The disk drive's on the second layer?
the disk the disk drive is between the second and third layer. Like the space in between
Okay.
is where the disk drive.
So the power buttons are here, disk drive's here. Right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Power button, middle layer, top layer, and the disk drive's in between.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
All right, and then same
Yeah.
thing, middle layer, buttons, bottom layer, and the two USB ports.
Yeah.
So like, just think of how your PS4 is now. Only another layer, and move the USB ports down to that other layer.
I am curious to see if this happens to you eventually because I don't know how this one comes apart. And by comes apart, I mean the PS4, the reason it's designed the way it is that gloss comes off so you can access the hard drive and the disk drive.
That is actually something I did not look into. I did
Okay.
not find plenty, and I didn't really look for. However, there is a small patch of what looks like, believe it or not, what looks like tape on the bottom, on the back of the bottom, and I'm pretty sure that is the seal. And
Yeah.
once you open that, just like with your PS4, they're like, "Hey, open it at your own risk. You can
Yeah.
you can upgrade your hard drive, but if you do, it voids your warranty."
No,
So
the hard drive doesn't. Hard drive doesn't void your
hard drive
warranty.
doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's designed. They designed these specifically because they knew that, like, when they came out with 500 gigs, it wasn't gonna be enough for some people. So they designed it. It's very, very simple to change out the hard drive in these. I think it's pretty simple in the Xbox One too, but not nearly as easy. That's why they have the HDD support. I was just curious because
That might know.
I've run into this continuous problem with the original PS4. Sometimes when I use discs, it doesn't want to eject the disc. Like, I don't know why, it just doesn't want to fucking eject it. So you have to take off the top layer, get in there with a screwdriver, and turn it. And manually,
Yeah.
it turns the thing and it pops it out. The only reason I asked that is because I'm sure somebody somewhere is going to have that problem with the Pro, and I'm sure it's the exact same design. You just go in there with a screwdriver, but
Unfortunately, I probably won't have much experience in that because
no.
I feel like that happens when you use your disk drive a lot, and I only
Mhm.
have I think one or two games that I play that are on disk. Everything
Yeah.
else is digital, so it is extremely rare that I touch my disk drive
Which is
at
fucking
all.
hilarious because you only really buy retail games.
Really, I like physical copies just because I'm a collector
Yeah.
of a lot of things.
Well, it's just easier
Like,
and more convenient for me, especially with multiplayer, but I'm getting off
Mhm.
track.
Yeah.
When you use the, have you watched any movies or Netflix or anything like that on it yet?
I have not.
Okay. I was just curious because I know Netflix is getting a 4K update that won't matter for you, but I think
No.
it's supposed to get an HDR update too, and same thing with YouTube. So that's the only reason why I asked.
Yeah, I do not. I won't be able to tell you that because I do not have a 4K TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Both Mike and I are college students, and we can't afford that.
We can occasionally afford to buy new things, but that's only because GameStop's a dick and they keep upping our credit limits.
Oh
Stop
my
it.
gosh, they make it.
Stop. Just stop
Every
already.
once in a while, Mike can afford to get me nice toys.
Yeah. Well, then we're going to Boston. Um,
We are going to
so
Boston.
I'm excited for PAX. Anyways,
Um,
oh, how's the new controller? Is it because I heard the people that used the original PS4 controller versus that one, they said it felt a little different. Like something about it just felt different.
I think that's more mental
Yeah,
um,
that's what I thought.
than anything. The design and the actual specifications of the controller
Are
are
exactly the
no
same.
different.
Yeah,
The weight, everything in it is the same. There's just one thing that is different, and even down to the technology, it's barely different. Okay, so the light bar does some pretty cool stuff. It reacts to what you're doing in game. If you die in a game, maybe it'll flash red, or it'll go red. Maybe when your health is really low, it'll flash yellow. Like cool stuff, but
yeah,
you can't ever see it.
yeah.
There's not really much of a point to it because you can't see it. Now on the touchpad, there's a slit right at the top, right where the touch sensitivity disappears, which basically gives you a gaze at that light bar.
That's nice.
But technologically speaking, the only thing that they did was basically put a clear top on the bulb of the light bar
Yeah, and then just painted it.
and basically cut a slit and then put a small clear slit in the touchpad. So
Yeah,
even technologically speaking, there's almost no difference at all.
they didn't
Is it worth
update the
upgrading the controller?
grips, did they? Did they
No,
update the grips?
same stuff.
Fuckers. The
Same
PS4
stuff.
grips are garbage. They're
All
great.
PlayStation grips are garbage.
They're great for the first like 4 weeks you use it, and then they deteriorate to shit and they just rip. I don't know
Yeah,
why they do. It's fucking annoying.
it's. I feel like that's happened with everything. The DualShock 2, DualShock 3,
My
all
DualShock
of the
2s go strong, man. I got used DualShock
no,
2s.
my PS2 controllers just went. They
You must
absolutely
have really
went.
played the fuck out of it then.
I did.
And I
It was a PS2. Who didn't?
yeah, that's true. Um, controller, USB ports. Do you hear it? Like the fan running on it at times? Or no?
No.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, though, it makes the exact same sounds, pitch, tone, everything exactly the same as what the PS4 before it.
Huh.
You know how every once in a while you'll get like a loading sound
Yeah, and it'd be like,
where you'll hear the console load. Yeah, and then you'll hear a little ooh.
yeah.
Exactly the same.
Huh.
Indistinguishable.
I'm trying to think of what game it was I was playing the other day. It was I think it was Thumper. It was either Thumper, Titanfall, or Dishonored. It was Dishonored, that's what it was. And my PS4 fan was just going fucking nuts, man. So
Yeah.
I've heard there is a
Um,
difference for some people and there isn't for others. So I mean, I guess it just depends on what kind of games you play and how that affects the system's rendering power and all that bullshit.
yeah. But anyway, I think that's kind of all we can really talk about right now. Unfortunately, like I said, because I don't have a 4K TV or even a 4K display, I can't
You
really.
can't really get the full use out of it.
Yeah, I can't give. Excuse me. I can't give all of that detailed reviewer stuff.
Makes sense.
But anyway, that's the video. And just anything you need from us or want to support us on Patreon, everything is in the description down below. I'm Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
I'll see you in the next one. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.